What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Team to Beat Miami Heat basketball channel. My name is Amir, and for today's episode, going to talk about the Toronto Raptors and all of this noise and reports coming out saying that Toronto could be a new frontrunner for Damian Lillard. They are apparently very serious in terms of wanting to actually acquire Damian Lillard. We all know that the Toronto Raptors have a better package than the Miami Heat, theoretically. Just depends on who they're willing to trade. But yeah, I mean, they have been engaged, I guess, over the last few days or so, or the last week with Portland. We all know that Portland has not been negotiating or having any conversations with the Heat. It's been 2 months or so since the Las Vegas Summer League. I believe in July is when the last time the Miami Heat and the Trailblazers have spoken. And the Trailblazers have said they're going to be having more conversations in the past week or so with teams to either acquire Damian Lillard straight up or to facilitate a 3 to 4 team deal, which could potentially lead Dame to Miami. So they were just going to put feelers out there, try to understand his market value. And they've been doing that over the past few days or a week or so. And there's been so many conflicting reports all over the place throughout these past 2.5 months. But a report came out last week saying that the Portland Trailblazers want to get a deal done before training camp. So training camp is on Tuesday, October 3rd. Media day is on October 2nd, which is 1 week away. Today's Monday, the 25th. So if there is a deal to be done, it's going to happen sometime this week before Monday and before Tuesday. And Toronto seems to be a team that is now in the mix that could potentially steal Damian Lillard from the Miami Heat. And if that happens, that would make me sick to my stomach. But Masai has been known to be capable of taking on such risks in terms of trades and acquiring players who wanted to play somewhere else. So Kawhi Leonard obviously joined the Raptors from the Spurs for a 1 year rental, and they ended up winning a championship. Ultimately, he still left after winning the championship and made it to the Clippers. So it wouldn't shock me. So anyway, so Mark J. Spears basically said today, everything I'm hearing is really quiet in Miami. The hottest name that I'm hearing right now is the Raptors, actually. He said he talked to two really high ranked team execs today and said that Toronto's the front runner, according to those executives, and they wouldn't be surprised if he ended up in the six. So I'm not sure if I believe that Toronto is the front runner. I believe that they could be truly interested again because based on their history, they've made a trade before for a player who didn't want to go to their franchise necessarily, but ended up there ultimately. But I'm not entirely sure who the Toronto Raptors are going to trade in order to acquire Dame. So Scotty Barnes obviously would be the piece that would make the most sense for the Portland Trailblazers, giving them that wing player, that defensive minded player who's still a little raw. Like he had a really good rookie year. Sophomore year wasn't as good, but he could be a good 3 and D player, has star potential, could be a good fit alongside of Scoot and Shaden Sharp and Anthony Simons. So he would be the piece that I would want to extract ultimately. He's only 22, I believe. Pascal Siakam doesn't make sense. He's 30 years old. He is an all-star, all NBA type of player. He's a really good player. I like him a lot, but he doesn't fit that rebuild timeline for Portland. And also, he's going to be on an expiring contract. So if they're rebuilding, I don't know if they want to put all their eggs in that basket. They've already paid Jeremy Grant, so I don't think they'll be able to afford both, especially if they're looking to rebuild. And plus, I think it just makes more sense for them to go through this youth revolution, get a Scotty Barnes, not a Siakam, so that they can again go through those growing pains. They don't want to win. Ultimately, you want your young players to get experience. You want to lose so you can get another high draft pick, another top 3, 4, 5 pick, and add some more depth, more talent in that front court to pair with a Scotty Barnes, a Scoot, a Sharp, a Simons, a Grant. Um, so is Toronto willing to trade Scotty Barnes, three first draft, three first round draft picks, Grady Dick, their pick this offseason, their first round pick, and whoever else? I don't think a Gary Trent Jr. makes sense because again, their backcourt is already filled. Um, would they be willing to do that for a 33-year-old Dame Lillard for 4 years, $200 million, and for a player who doesn't want to be there ultimately? So that's the biggest caveat: is he only wants to go to the Heat, and there have been reports stating that if Damian Lillard gets traded to any team besides the Miami Heat, he's going to request a trade. And then that was last week. Then yesterday there was a report saying that if Damian Lillard gets traded to the Raptors specifically, then he's going to definitely not show up and make a stink and ask for a trade. So he doesn't want to play for the Raptors. So why would they want to risk the point or the fact that they could trade Barnes, Dick, draft picks, whoever else, and have Damian Lillard come in and sit out, basically? I don't know if that's part of his character, but if he truly, if that report was true and he doesn't want to play for Toronto, then he has the potential to do that. And so why risk that for someone who doesn't want to be there? Another piece they could trade is like OG Ananobi, who's 26 years old, 6'7" wing, could play the three or four. I mean, hell, he could play shooting guard technically too, but he would probably um, play the three, I would say, because Grant is going to be their four. Um, but, you know, trading him, is that good enough? Just getting him, the draft picks, and Dick? Probably. I think it would be better. But again, you're losing him and your first round draft picks and Dick for someone who doesn't want to be there. So is it worth it? I'm not entirely sure. Are they actually serious competitors? I think so, but Spears also said a trade is still not imminent. He hasn't heard of any um, specific packages that they've offered already. There's no real package um, that has been offered thus far that he knows of. It's not super hot. Um, so is this all just like a smokescreen to give pressure to the Miami Heat? Like Portland needed at least just one team to jump in on the Damian Lillard sweepstakes to put out a potential offer or a real offer to put that pressure on Miami to extract a better deal. And so they have that now with Toronto. So are they a real threat? I think so because whoever leaked that information that Dame wouldn't show up to any team or request a new trade, if Toronto makes it specifically, um, probably explains that Dame's camp thinks it's real, that they actually are interested. So that puts the pressure back on Miami in terms of coming forward with their best offer. And I think you don't unload the clip fully, but still, I think you try to work with other teams. And there's been rumors that Portland could be interested in acquiring DeAndre Ayton from the Suns. We all know that Ayton does not probably want to play for the Suns. Suns don't want Ayton. So there was talks about adding Nurkic in this deal, where Nurkic would go to the Suns, Ayton will go to Portland. Miami would then also have to up the ante and include like a Caleb Martin, and so Martin would also go to the Suns along with Nurkic, so that Ayton can get to Portland. That way, they can get a big who's young. He's overpaid in my opinion, but he's a decent player. Not too bad defensively. He's okay offensively, but he's a max player, and he'll definitely help with the front court, which is what Portland needs help with. Um, then you can also get Jovic from the Heat, Jaime Jaquez, a couple first round picks, some swaps. Then you can get Kyle Lowry as salary filler. You can also get Tyler Hero to another team. Jazz have said they've been interested, that they would give a pick as well as a player. So trade Tyler Hero to the Jazz, make that three now first round picks plus a player. Like, not exactly sure who they would trade. It would probably have to be some wing or front court player, maybe Kelly Olynyk. They're not going to trade Markkinen, obviously. They don't need Sexton or Jordan Clarkson or any of those types of players. So who knows? But yeah, I think the threat is real, but I ultimately still think that Miami is the favorite to land Dame this week. Because again, for the millionth time, Dame only wants to go to the Miami Heat. That's his preference. And so I think it makes sense that the Blazers would ultimately and eventually want to do Damian Lillard right and trade him to the team that he wants to go to, as long as they're getting a good package. I understand, again, Joe Cronin and Portland wanting the best offer possible for Damian Lillard. But as many other people have said, and if we look back on recent history, that whenever a superstar requests a trade and gets traded, you never get the return that you're looking for that player. You're losing a superstar. You're not going to get that in return. No one can replace Damian Lillard in that lineup. So it's tough. It's a tough pill to swallow, but who knows, man? I honestly don't know. Um, Barry Jackson, tweeted to the mystery remains why Blazers refuse to engage with the Heat or even ask them for their best offer. Um, why are they so opposed to sending Lillard to the one place that he wants to go? Do they already know they hate every possible Heat asset? Is it pettiness? It's just bizarre. Portland has shown, he also said, total disregard for Lillard's preference. This notion that they're collecting every possible offer to go back to the Heat to give them a chance to top it seems wishful thinking at best. If they get an offer they like, their behavior suggests that they'll take it. So that could be true again. Like if they're actually not negotiating with the Miami Heat, if they don't care that Damian Lillard wants to go to the Heat and they don't care about fulfilling his wishes for being a loyal star, to them, they don't think he's loyal anymore because he signed a 4-year deal and now he has asked for a trade 1 year into that contract. So I understand where Portland is coming from again. But again, I think in order to make this real, that Andy Ellsberg and Joe Cronin need to get on the phone as soon as possible, gauge if the Raptors have actually put together a deal, what that deal looks like, and if they can beat it. I'm just hoping Portland would call Miami if there is a real offer out there, and they would try to see if the Miami Heat could match or exceed that offer. But who knows? So I think ultimately Damian Lillard needs to come in, even though the memo said he's going to get fined if he publicly speaks on this. But publicly, privately, whatever he needs to do, he needs to create chaos and say that he's not going to show up to camp for any team except for the Miami Heat. That he's going to sit out for the entire season. That's one thing he can do to ultimately gain all the leverage back. Because right now, it doesn't seem like Dame has the leverage. Portland seems to have the leverage back now because Toronto seems to be a real threat to acquire Damian Lillard. So I think Miami needs to wake up and not mess up this opportunity because a lot of Heat fans will be pissed. There's some crazy Heat fans out there that want to run it back, even though running it back is not entirely running it back because we obviously have lost a few players, have added a few new players. But ultimately, Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo need some help. We've fallen short every year. We've been screwed by injuries also, but that's natural. That happens to a lot of teams. Um, so there is a lot of luck involved when it comes to winning a championship. You have to be good and you have to be healthy. So the Heat are good enough to get to the finals. We've shown that, but we have not been able to win a championship with this team. We need to add another player, another star. Damian Lillard is the perfect fit alongside of Bam Adebayo. Damian Lillard, he fits within our timeline. I think we need to get this done. Again, I've said this before on different videos, but what we need to do is offer as many picks as possible, trade Hero to the Jazz if they're willing to get a pick, or the Nets and a player. Try to trade Caleb Martin to the Phoenix Suns so that Nurkic can go there as well so they can acquire DeAndre Ayton. So they have their big. Then we need to be able to provide 3 first-round picks, some pick swaps, and then whoever else they want. They want Jovic, give them Jovic. They want Hawkes, give them Hawkes. Totally fine. They're young, unproven players. There's no guarantee that they are going to be stars in this league. There's no guarantee in life for anything, honestly. So can't guarantee that Jovic is going to be a star, an all-star, superstar. Same with Hawkes, but you can guarantee that Damian Lillard is a all-star and a star. There is a risk because he's 33. He only has a few years left, but he last year averaged 32 points, almost 8 assists per game. Health can be an issue, but I think if he's in the Miami Heat system, um, we will help him get into the best shape of his life. And I think you take that risk. So I'm okay to trade Lowry, Hero, Jaquez, Jovic, and Martin. I'm probably going to get some slack from some delusional Heat fans, but you go all in to add a superstar to your team. Okay. We need Damian Lillard to guide us to win a championship. Jaime Jaquez and Jovic might not even crack our rotation if we don't trade for Damian Lillard. Let that sink in. They might not even crack our rotation. Tyler Hero would be our point guard. Assume that we don't trade for Damian Lillard, which is not the best fit, but whatever. We got Tyler, Josh at our 2. We got Jimmy at the 3. We got Kevin Love possibly at the 4 starting in Bam. Okay, that's 5. Then we have Lowry 6 as our backup point guard. Then we have Caleb Martin as our backup small forward. And then we have Haywood Highsmith, who's going to potentially be in the mix as a backup small forward, power forward. Then we got Thomas Bryant, who's going to be competing at the 5 spot. We got Orlando Robinson also competing at the 5 spot. That's 10 players right there alone. And then on number 11, you got Jovic, who might be ahead of Highsmith, but you got Jovic and then Hawkes. That's 12 players right there. And we have 2 more spots that we haven't even fulfilled yet. So who knows? We could be adding in Austin Rivers, in Ish Smith, who knows? Another guard and then another big possibly. So there's no guarantee they're even going to be in our rotation. So I think you get the deal done. I'm a little worried, obviously, because again, now all Portland needed was one team to be serious, to make an offer, and now Miami has to come back with a serious offer. When there was no other offer or threat, I was okay with lowballing them, trying to fleece them, give them one of Jovic and Hawkes, give them Kyle Lowry, throw in Duncan, Tyler to another team, 2, 3 first round picks, call it a day. Keep Caleb, keep Hawkes or Jovic, whichever one, and lowball them because we're the only bid in town. But now, if Toronto's serious, we need to get our act together, and we can't fall asleep at the wheel. I don't think Pat's sleeping at the wheel. This is the best franchise organization in the NBA. We have the best coach. We have the best culture. It's going to happen. I'm still optimistic. I think this is the fire the Miami Heat finally needed. I think Cronin got what he wanted by waiting months and was hoping that some other team would come in to save the day, and that team could be the Raptors. So ultimately, I still think he goes to the Heat. Let me know what you guys think. Are you guys worried? Truthfully, I am because things like this have happened in the past with the Miami Heat, but we never had a player so adamant and saying only the Miami Heat. Usually, players who've requested to come to the Heat have mentioned other teams. So let me know what you guys think, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks.